Hello and welcome to Note to File, a clinical research podcast.
A collection of interviews, candid commentary, and general nonsense for the clinical research community.
Check us out at notetofilepodcast.com.
And now, without further ado, on to the show.
Hey guys, welcome to another Note to File. Today is March 24th. Is that right?
Yeah.
Did I get it right?
You did. I know it's a trial, but
Yeah, well, you never know. You just never know. You can't be too confident. How are you doing?
Good. I mean, it's spring break this week for us. So I know you said you had that last week, but yeah, spring break week for us. So a little chaotic with like running arounds and all of that, but it's good. I mean, it feels like it's it's finally spring. So it feels fitting.
Is it? When is spring like?
I feel like the first day of spring started either Sunday or Monday. The 22nd or the 23rd.
Oh, really? Okay. All right.
I just got a new scent that was like the spring equinox scent released. So,
okay.
Well, we'll it's officially spring.
Here it's like 90 degrees one day and then 60 the next day. So I don't even know what counts as spring anymore.
I mean, okay, technically like equinox calendar wise, it's spring. Wisconsin has no spring. I feel like this is why I always like spring has always been my least favorite season, but I think that's because we, like I said, just don't have one here. Yeah, like we maybe have a couple of good weeks in May that's like, oh, it feels like spring. And then otherwise it's like cold. It gets super gross and muddy and like ick. And then it snows again in April at some point. Then it gets just like stupid hot and muggy in like June. So
perfect.
Wonderful.
Waiting for tornadoes here, so we'll see. That's when I know it's spring, I guess. All right, today I said is March 24th. A lot of fun days today. Some slightly related to clinical research. So, first of all, most importantly, it's National Cheesesteak Day.
Okay, yeah, I get down with that.
Delicious.
I'm gonna be really honest. I have not had a cheesesteak in years.
Well, what are you doing with yourself? Eat a cheesesteak.
I know. I'll get right on it.
With like cheese whiz on them too. Those are the best ones.
Huh. I feel like isn't there like a whole thing like who has the best cheesesteak? I feel like there's documentaries about that.
I mean, I'm sure like anything else, there's a adamant group that believes they make the best cheesesteaks, and others who disagree. Yeah, you know what? If you're in the comments, where's the best cheesesteak? I want to hear. And then on the other end of things, today's also International Day for the Right to the Truth Concerning Gross Human Rights Violations and for the Dignity of Victims. So maybe not quite as...
so, all for the concept. Absolutely.
Too many words, for sure.
Like human rights, victim dignity... 2 thumbs up. We should do that.
You believe in those? You believe in those?
I believe in those things.
What a bold stance.
You know, it's like when you preface something and you say like, no offense, but like, I want to preface it to put like I just think that's a bullshit day. Like, I don't know. Like, I agree with the concepts conceptually, but like, feels like a reach of a day. That should be all the time. Also, too many words.
It's a UN designated event held March 24th of each year.
So is it a day or is it like a symposium or some shit?
Apparently it's some kind of event. I don't really understand. I'm not going to read that deeply into it.
Fair.
Apparently it was founded to commemorate a fallen human rights activist from El Salvador, St. Oscar Arnulfo Romero. So if you want to read into that, look into it. Anyways, we support human rights here on Note to File. Right? Let's make that very clear. Today is also, interestingly, National Adverse Drug Event Awareness Day.
I like that day. Adverse drug events disproportionately affect women.
Is that so?
It is so because we test them
most.
No, it's because we test drugs in men who have a different metabolic rate, and therefore we oftentimes chronically overdose women because that's the dosage we ran the clinical trials in. And so women are constantly generally over-medicated, which means you're going to have more likely to have adverse and just regular side effects.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Okay. Well, duly noted.
So
an important day then. Make sure that you know about your adverse drug. If you,
what would one do to celebrate that day?
I don't know. Either take a lot of drugs or don't take any drugs. One of the two.
Divide and
I'm
conquer.
not sure how you observe that day.
I mean, there are some of them that are like that, like cheesesteak day. Great. Pretty clear cut, right? Like go eat a cheesesteak.
Cheesesteak, you're good. Spread awareness is what you can do. Here it says how to observe. Learn about adverse drug events. Report to MedWatch. So, you know, if you have something you need to report to MedWatch, maybe this is the one day a year you should do it. And then lastly, spread awareness. And it even gives you some nice hashtags you can use if you want to spread awareness about Adverse Drug Event Day. Anyways.
Maybe our LinkedIn page for Note to File should just start celebrating days.
I mean, there's a lot more that I don't bring up. Things that just don't really seem worth bringing up. I mean, today is also National Cocktail Day, which may be of interest to you.
I mean, that's how I know how you celebrate that one. Pretty clear cut.
Right. But then today is also National Stephanie Day. So, you know, that doesn't seem worth bringing up. And yet I did. So
it worked. They got you.
So if you know Stephanie, I don't know, give her some drugs and a cocktail and
but you'd have some adverse events.
Report any adverse events and you pretty much hit all your things there. And you can do that while you're eating a cheesesteak.
Checks all the boxes.
Please don't listen to this for medical advice or legal advice. Let's jump in. We got a couple of things to talk about. It hasn't been too crazy since we've been doing these for a couple of times a week for a couple of weeks now. So I feel like there's less to talk about sometimes.
Sometimes. I mean, I feel like there was actually quite a bit happening in like the clinical trials adjacent sector, but nothing that I don't know.
Well, let's see. Let's go here. This is an announcement that came out this morning. ICON and Advarra introduced new research-ready connected site network model, which is an interesting idea, but it sounds like essentially ICON and Advarra sort of partnering and rolling out some software together. The partnership will integrate ICON's global clinical trial solutions and services with Advarra's site, CTMS, CIS, EISF, and eSource systems, which are already used by a bunch of people. I've never even seen an Advarra product in my entire research career. I will point out. I'm sure they're great, but
I mean, I'm pretty intimately familiar with that particular set of products. The thing that I found interesting about this approach that I have questions about, which, like, I mean, again, all for having sites have site technology that supports their research needs, but this, I'm trying to figure out how this is anything other than just more technology provided by the sponsor CRO to the site. Well, like, hey, use this.
I have there's two parts of it. So yes, but also if 90% of the cancer centers already use it, then why do you need to have a partnership about it?
And here's the deal. Like,
which one is it?
Like through the Encore CTMS, highly penetrated in the NCI designated cancer center space. It's well known, but they're using that to manage their entire research portfolio across hundreds and thousands of trials, as any large academic does with their systems, right? Like, you're using your CTMS to manage your entire research portfolio, right?
Yeah.
So are these organizations. So what?
Fair.
And like, it's like, okay, well, they're working with how many studies with ICON? Like, what are you like? Do you provide this for, like, hey, use this for all of your research technology? Or is it like, again, similar to EDC training where it's like, here, use these for this portion of your studies? Or is it use it for everything across the board? Who's paying for it?
Yeah. For
this trial, for other trials? Like, I mean, it just seems like it just seems very much like a...
Yeah, well, and we'll see. I'll read in a little bit more. One of the things that this is a bigger question, and it kind of makes me something I thought about recently, but it says Advarra will provide ICON with deep operational intelligence through study collaboration built on Braid, trademark, who the fuck knows what that is, Advarra's data and AI platform that draws on operational insights from its IRB and clinical trial systems. So this kind of thing leads me to believe that companies like Advarra are using, let's say I'm using their clinical trial systems. Are they gathering operational intelligence about me and my site to give to sponsors? I know that WCG, at least, I don't know about Advarra, also has some intelligence that goes into site selection. But what do they draw that from? If I'm using their products, are they collecting data about my site to then pass on to studies and sponsors? I have to believe they are. I don't know that for sure, but this seems to imply that that's the case, which is interesting to me.
Yeah, I mean, and there's multiple ways you could feasibly get data, but then I think it begs the question: what is the legal right to use the data that they have access to? And I don't know
Thank
that.
you. Well, some of that goes back. I mean, we talked about when we had Walt from New York Times on about how now they're deeply involved with site operations. Apparently, I mean, at this point, they're at least have a vested interest in site operations, which could potentially conflict with trying to be a subjective ethical body, objective ethical body, rather. I don't know. The whole thing's interesting to me. This part's interesting that ICON and Advarra work together to expand access to clinical trials by enabling more research sites worldwide. Blah, blah, blah. They plan to equip emerging and research naive sites, along with select sites working with ICON with Advarra site technology. I'm not sure what that means. They're going to give it away?
Well, who's paying for it? And is it for an enterprise suite, or does it again, it gets into the situation like, great, we're going to provide this to you at a discount. ICON's going to pay for it, but you can only use it for a subset of your trials. We're going to provide it to you, but you have to pay for it. I mean, there's a lot of questions that I think, like, in theory, the underlying mission makes a lot of sense. Like, let's get sites tech that work for them so they can be supported on technology. But I think, again, this is something like I struggle with constantly is like, we have so many solutions out there for sites. Like, adding more solutions to the space and giving sites more tools and technology isn't necessarily like the answer. I think it has to be done in a thoughtful way instead of just like doing it. I don't know.
Yeah, I get torn on these as a site because look, also, at least the sites that they kind of seem to be talking about are not small sites who don't already have technology to do stuff.
And that's the question.
I don't know how much they're enabling. Again, we'll see. I mean, I like the idea. I like the idea of it, obviously. I think there should be more sites. And if I'm starting a new site, I'd love to have access to software that is good or doesn't cost me much, if anything. It's not clear that that's the case here, but maybe
or is it providing other services to their current technology customers through ICON? I don't know.
No, we'll see. Either way, interesting. Well, I'm sure we'll see more about it. I'm surprised this was sent to us by a listener, I guess you could say. So I'm surprised we didn't see a little bit more of a. Maybe I just haven't been on LinkedIn much.
Or maybe it's just a bunch of PR bullshit that they're just putting something in to say we're doing something with this partnership. And
most things are, and I'm not sure this is like I don't know if it's a significant part of either of their business model per se, but we'll see. It was interesting nonetheless. But yeah, this was something I kind of got a little bit in a rabbit hole with when I was looking into tools that sponsors use to select sites, and it brought up WCG as one. And again, I'm sure Advarra sounds like they probably provide maybe some.
They're Walmart and Targets. One's doing it, the other's doing it, maybe slightly differently.
But how do they get that insight? When I submit to an IRB, they ask me to put how many patients I plan to enroll, and then I have to submit every year to say, how many patients we've enrolled. So they've got technically data on how many patients I've enrolled. Are they selling that or using that to give to sponsors to say whether, we're a site that has
who owns the data?
Again, I have to assume they do.
But I mean, who owns the data? And I know a lot of like where it's like, did you check a box when you signed up for whatever portal you were signing up for? And what were the terms and conditions that were listed in that box that you just checked and said like, yep, I'm making my account for this IRB portal. Check.
Oh, probably.
And that data is probably now able to be leveraged. I think it's definitely stickier when you talk about technology that like software that's being sold to a site, because generally how you consider it is that the technology and the code behind it is owned by the vendor, right? Like that's their IP, but the data within it is generally owned by the site who has it. And so like we're like what are all the stupid terms about it? Like I don't even remember. I have to go back and look on like you are protecting the data, your data processor, but it's not your data. So what are your use rights to it? It'd probably come down to like individual contracts and what they are and are not allowed to use. Now, then it depends on people abiding by that too, is the other question. And so where are the lines of what they have permission to use and are using, what they have and aren't using, what they have and are using without permission, what they have and are using with permission. Like there's sort of a gradient.
Right.
And it would kind of be hard to tell at this point, but I'm sure there's some of it.
It's interesting to me, nonetheless. Yeah. And again, not all that clear either way, especially from the side side. Cool. Well, we'll see what comes of that, if anything. This was one I didn't really catch, like the initial, I guess, when this came out, but Dana-Farber agrees to pay $15 million to settle a Justice Department lawsuit over manipulated data. This is, interesting stuff that it sounds like, as part of the settlement, Dana-Farber admitted scientists working under the supervision of one of its PIs used federal grant dollars to conduct research that led to papers with duplicated or manipulated images. Oh, you know what? Just cut me off, man. Hey, stat news. What are you doing? This worked for some reason earlier when I looked at this. I could view the whole article. All right, well, fail on my part. But essentially, it goes on to say that a scientist in Wales blew the whistle on Dana-Farber. As a result, the guy is getting nearly $3 million, which I also found pretty fascinating when it comes to that's how it works. So you can like blow the whistle on people and get money for it. I didn't realize that was part of it. The rest of the money goes back to NIH. And I think probably as part of that settlement, Dana-Farber doesn't have to admit too much liability or too much responsibility necessarily.
Well, we kind of talked about this a couple of weeks ago and we talked about like who owns it, right? Like, is it the institution? Is it the PI? Is it like in your organization's case, is it like the IRO that's coming in? Like, where does that accountability and responsibility lie? So I find this interesting because clearly it seems like from this article that it's like one particular PI had some issues at their lab, which then resulted in, right, like other researchers using publications and sort of like substantiating it by utilization, right? So like it became something which spiraled a little bit, but it all originated back to a particular individual who, whether by accident or not, had some issues with their data. So then who is responsible for that? Is it Dana-Farber to say like, yeah, my ass on the line, I'm going to give you this, whatever? Or is it like, why is it not that PI's? Or is it because it's a larger situation?
I assume I assume that as it probably as an employee of Dana-Farber that they bear that responsibility.
Yeah. One, especially if there's like other researchers and other publications, that wasn't like the bigger issue was it wasn't just this lone incident. It was a lone incident that led to other things. So there's sort of maybe multiple folks.
So I just thought that interesting. I mean, I think we saw, to sort of fit this into the bigger thing too. Like a while back, we were talking about whenever Doge was going through, and there's talking about how there's all these terrible fraud, liars, waste and abuse from NIH. And I mean, this is at least seemingly one example. We don't know the details, obviously. And I assume if Dana-Farber is settling, I don't know what that says about the whole thing, other than maybe they don't want to get screwed worse.
Or they just don't want to deal with it. I mean, it's not like so much of lawsuits, like you said, all not because you agree that you're like people who admit that they're guilty in crimes. It's not because you believe you're guilty. It's just because you want to just be done with it and not have it drag out, because maybe the cost of doing that would be equivalent.
Yeah. No, I could see that being the case. Either way, not the best look in the world. Either way.
No, but I mean, shit, you can find whatever you're looking for anywhere, right? Like of the crazy ass shit that we've covered about happening in Florida with falsified data and false sites who are just like making up shit, right? Like that was not NIH. That was just like you can find this shit everywhere. There's always bad operators.
It's true, but I mean, again, part of it is them admitting that there were manipulated images in their research. So it's not ideal. It's not. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Interesting nonetheless. I'm sure there are people who know more about the details of this. I'd be interested. Maybe I'll go down the rabbit hole a little bit. Okay. Well, flying through. Last one here. I mean, just because this seems to be such a continual theme on this show. This is from you. You talk about it.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is a fascinating one. I actually had this, one of my colleagues, we were going back and forth about this, and I find this fascinating. It's a research that is done where it looked at workers who fall for corporate bullshit may be worse at their jobs. So it was a study that was done, and they had some fascinating terms where they started like officially calling, like making up different acronyms about, you know, how you look at like corporate bullshit and how you were able to like call it out in like buzzwords and jargons. And basically it's folks who find that like shallow, pedantic, and they see through it are much likelier to be better at their jobs. So they ran through a bunch of cognitive tests, and folks who are more likely to call corporate bullshit were going to be actually better suited for their jobs, better able to make decisions, have a more accurate view of, you know, superiors. And the folks who were all in on like the buzzwords corporate jargon were going to be less capable, which, you know, made me actually, I was like, you know what, maybe I'm really good at my job. So
maybe so, we'll get your boss on here. We'll see about that.
On. Yeah, I'll talk to him, see if Nick will come on.
No, yeah, it is funny. And I mean, yeah, as you kind of mentioned, the guy used a corporate bullshit generator to generate statements, you know, that sound very corporate-y. I mean, look, we've all seen it. We all know what it looks like. I don't know. It was pretty funny. It really seems to validate my worldview, so I'll take that.
I mean, I don't know. And I tend to agree because I feel like, and maybe the issue is, right, like the reason folks are using corporate jargon, corporate bullshit is generally it has very little actual content. Like people wrap around very opaque or like low substance concepts, and they can talk forever about it. And then when you're like, well, what are you saying? Like, what are you really saying? And so the people who buy it are like, oh man, this must be smart. Like you must be saying some big things because you're using the right words. It's like, well, you don't actually know what you're saying. But it is funny. I mean, I've certainly worked with people in the past who will like rattle off all of the synergies and levers to pull and like analogies about boiling the ocean and, you know, whatever that may be. And you say like, I don't know, it's validating for me to see this.
Let's say that being wowed by bullshit isn't all bad. There's another study that showed that people who are susceptible to corporate bullshit rated their supervisors as more charismatic and visionary, or more likely to be inspired by their company's mission statement, and to experience better job satisfaction. So, you know.
So if you drink the Kool-Aid,
you'll be happy. You know, I mean, you know, if you fall for it, then.
I mean, what's the thing? It's like y'all, like with the folks without critical thinking, like y'all seem so happy. Like, how do you do it? But I mean, it's like there's ignorance is bliss, right? Like if you're willing to take things at face value, you're not going to think about things critically. Where could they go wrong? How could they be improved? You're just going to kind of like take things as they come. Yeah, you're going to be fucking happier. Like you're simple. Like, I don't know. Like,
hey man, you know, there's a place for that too. Just be happy and follow the rules, follow the corporate silliness that you're being, you know, given, and that's good. Some people like that. They like that structure and that.
And there's a place for that because it does provide like folks who are just going to be doers and, you know, want A to Z, 9 to 5, whatever. Like, great. Doesn't do it for me.
Well, like if we work for a small company, so we'll never have to experience it. Surely.
Hey, but you can work for a large company and then you can still recognize when.
I don't know. I didn't see that in the study, so we'll see.
I'll run a study. How about it?
Yeah, you run a study. That's
I'll
perfect.
run a study.
All right. You got anything else?
No.
No. Okay. Rock and roll. Then we'll be back on Thursday.
We'll have more levers to pull.
Don't say
we'll have
that.
some more synergistic.
And if you fall for that, please keep tuning back in.
You're our target audience.
You're our favorite listeners. All right. Thanks, guys. See ya.
Thanks for listening to Note to File. We're committed to continuing to bring you independent and unfiltered coverage of the clinical trial industry.
We want to talk about what you want to hear. So if you have something on your mind, hit us up at notetofilepodcast.com.